So, good day everyone. For today's topic, we will be discussing about Köppen's climatic classification system. So first, let's know more about Vladimir Köppen. Vladimir Köppen is a German meteorologist and climatologist best known for his delineation and mapping of the world's climatic region. He played a pivotal role in the advancement of climatology and meteorology for over 70 years. So because of this, Köppen's achievement, practical and theoretical, profoundly influenced the development of atmospheric science. His greatest achievement came in 1900s when he introduced his mathematical system of climatic classification. Each of the 5 major climate types was assigned a numerical value based on the temperature and rainfall characteristics. Since then, many of the systems introduced by other scholars have been based on Köppen's work. So now, we will discuss more about the Köppen's climate classification. So Köppen climate classification is widely used, vegetation-based, empirical climate classification system developed by Vladimir Köppen. So his aim was to devise formulas that would define climatic boundaries in a way that corresponded to those of the vegetation zone or biomes being mapped for the first time during his lifetime. So Köppen published his first scheme in 1900s and the revised version in 1918. So he continued to revise his system of classification until his death in 1940. Other climatologists have modified portions of Köppen's procedure based on their experience in various parts of the world. So one of the most widely methods for organizing the world's climates based on temperature, precipitation, and seasonal patterns. So that Köppen's climate classification is widely used until now. So now we will talk about the 5 main climate groups. So a widely used method that divides Earth's climates into 5 main groups. So the first one is yung letter A is tropical, B is dry, C is temperate, D is continental, and E is polar. So it is based on seasonal patterns of precipitation and temperature. These groups are further subdivided into more specific climate types using a second or third letter to indicate variations like dryness, summer warmth, or winter coldness. So sa first letter, yung A, B, C, D, and E, ito yung major climate types. Yun ay nabanggit ko kanina. Yung second letter naman, yun yung seasonal precipitation. So it has 3 letters then. Ang F, fully humid. Ang W, dry winter, at ang S is dry summer. At yung third letter is summer temperature. It also has 3 letters. Yung letter A na small letter is hot, yung B is warm, and yung C is cool. As we can see in the image, continental and dry climate have a high percentage in the Köppen's climate classification system because they cover very large areas of Earth's land surface. So continental climate dominate the vast interiors of continents in the northern hemisphere, especially in Asia, Europe, and North America, where there are wide stretches of land far from the ocean. Since most of the world's landmass is located in the north mid-latitude, these regions naturally take up a big portion of global climate distribution. While dry climate also occupy a large percentage because desert and semi-arid regions spread widely across many continents, such as the Sahara in Africa, the Arabian Peninsula, Central Australia, and parts of North and South America. So these dry regions form easily in areas with high pressure systems, little rainfall, and continental interiors. Since both climate types cover huge land areas, they end up having a large percentage in the world's climate maps in Köppen's climate classification system. So now let's identify the 5 major types of Köppen's climate classification system. So the first one is the letter A is tropical. It is a climate that found in a nearly unbroken belt around the Earth as low latitude, mostly within 15 degrees north and south. their location within a region in which available net solar radiation is large and relatively constant from month to month ensures both high temperature and a virtual absence of thermal season. Typically, the temperature difference between day and night is greater than that between the warmest and the coolest months, the opposite of the situation in mid-latitude. So type A climates are controlled mainly by the seasonal fluctuations of the trade winds, the Intertropical Convergence Zone or ITCZ, and the Asian monsoon. Köppen specifies 3A climates. So the first one is AF or tropical wet or rainforest, AM is tropical monsoon, and AW is tropical wet and dry or savanna. So now, let's first identify the AF or tropical wet or rainforest. It is consistent, heavy rainfall year-round with no dry month receiving less than 60 mm of precipitation. Rain falls almost daily due to convective thunderstorms and the Intertropical Convergence Zone. Temperatures remain very stable, typically ranging from 25 to 28 degrees Celsius. Vegetation is extremely diverse, forming dense evergreen rainforests, such as those found in the Amazon, Congo Basin, and Indonesia. Number 2 is AM or tropical monsoon. The monsoon season, bringing months of intense rainfall, is caused by seasonal wind shift. Although there is a short dry season, humidity remains high and temperature stays warm. Cities like Mumbai and Manila experience this type where strong summer monsoons cause flooding while winter brings brief slightly drier months. And number 3 is AW or tropical wet and dry or savanna. A distinct wet and dry season depending on the location. Rainfall is controlled by the shifting ITZZ. The dry season can last many months, allowing only grasses, shrubs, and scattered trees to survive. Example is East Africa, parts of Brazil, and some areas in Southeast Asia. The second one is dry. So type B climate represents the world's dry or arid regions where the amount of moisture lost through evaporation is greater than the amount of rain received. So due to this imbalance, these areas frequently experience drought condition, limited water sources, and sparse vegetation. Type B climates are divided into two major categories. Number 1 is BW or arid, and number 2 is BS or semi-arid or steppe. Let's first identify the BW or arid. So it is the driest, receiving extremely little rainfall throughout the year. They include BWH or hot desert regions such as the Sahara and Arabian Desert, which experience scorching daytime temperature, clear skies, and nearly barren landscapes. There are also BWK or cold desert, like the Gobi Desert, where winters are cold due to high elevation or distance from the equator, but the dryness remains intense. And the second Y is BS or semi-arid or steppe. It receives more rainfall than deserts, but still not enough to support forests. So BSH or hot steppe areas such as parts of northern Africa, Mexico, and India have hot temperature but slightly higher rainfall that allows grasses and shrubs to grow. Meanwhile, BSK or cold steppe regions found in Central Asia and Mongolia have cooler temperature and distinct seasons, including cold winters. These steppe areas often act as transitional zones between deserts and more humid climates. So for the summary, yung BW or desert is extremely dry, almost no vegetation, can be hot or cold, while yung BS or yung steppe is slightly wetter, supports grasses and shrubs, often a transitional zone. So the next one is C is temperate. It is also known as mild mid-latitude climates. These regions experience temperature that are neither extremely hot nor extremely cold. So these regions experience warm to hot summers, mild to cold winters, and moderate rainfall spread throughout the year or concentrated in certain seasons. Type C climates are commonly found along coastal areas or regions influenced by oceans, which help regulate temperature and prevent extreme seasonal changes. It has also three subtypes. The number 1 is CW or temperate with dry winter. Number 2 is CF or temperate with wet seasons. And number 3 is CS or temperate with dry summer. So first, we identify the CW or temperate with dry winter. Temperate regions with dry winters and very rainy summers, often influenced by monsoon winds. So CW climates have strong seasonal contrasts, with summer monsoons delivering heavy rain while winter months remain almost completely dry. So it also has subtypes, which is number 1 is CWA or monsoon subtropical hot summer. So hot summers and dry cool winters are common in subtropical monsoon regions such as northern India, southern China, and parts of Southeast Asia. And also number 2 is CWB or subtropical highlands warm summer. So highland areas where elevation creates warm summers and cool dry winters, such as those found in Nepal, northern Vietnam, and the Andes. And number 3 is CWC or subtropical highlands cool summer. Even higher elevations are characterized by cool summers and cold dry winters, occurring in high mountain found in Bolivia and Peru. Number 2 is CF or temperate with wet season. Temperate regions that receive rainfall throughout the entire year with no distinct dry season. CF climates are strongly influenced by oceans, resulting in moderate temperatures, cloudy skies, lush vegetation, and steady rainfall all year. So it also has three subtypes. CFA is humid subtropical hot summer, has hot, humid summers and mild winters, making it common in places like the southeastern United States, eastern China, and Japan. Next is CFB or Marine West Coast warm summer. Experiences mild summers, cool winters, and frequent rain caused by moist ocean winds. Western Europe, New Zealand, and parts of China belong here. And the next one is CFC or Marine West Coast cool summer. Has cool summers and chilly, wet winters, often found in high latitude coastal areas such as Iceland and coastal Norway. Number 3 is CS or temperate with dry summer. It experiences hot or warm dry summers and cool, rainy winters, largely due to the influence of subtropical high-pressure systems in the summer. CS climates are ideal for crops like olives, grapes, and citrus, and the distinct summer drought creates a landscape of shrubs, pine forests, and drought-resistant plants. So it also has subtypes. CSA or hot summer Mediterranean has hot, dry summers and mild winters, common around the Mediterranean Sea, coastal California, and parts of Australia. CSB or warm summer Mediterranean has warm but hot summer, often with more cloud cover and cooler conditions. Examples include Portugal, coastal Oregon, and coastal Chile. And the next one is CSC or cool summer Mediterranean. Rarest subtype, high elevation Mediterranean regions where summers are cool and winters are cold and wet, such as in the high mountains of California, Turkey, or the Andes. For better understanding, CS climates have a distinct dry summer and wet winter pattern. That's all.
So much, Ms. Valdez. So right now I'm going to report the rest of the topic, all about the Köppen system classification. So before I proceed, I introduce myself first. My name is Nawal Fulahal, your next reporter. So the type B climates occur for in inland or in northern latitude and have very cold winters with the coldest month below 0 degrees Celsius. Our summers are warm or hot and temperature varies between seasons or large. A moist continental climate is characterized by its mid-latitude location featuring cold winters and warm summers. These climates are characterized by a large annual temperature range, with the warmest month averaging over 10 degrees Celsius and the coldest month averaging below 3, -3 degrees Celsius, which means this type of the it has a continental that has a very cold and not very cold but actually cold, and also a warmest month, which has a nasabi nga sa topic na there's time that has a coldest month, which is having the temperature of 0 degrees Celsius, while the warmest month having a 10 degrees Celsius. So there are different codes in the type B. We have first the DW, continental with dry winter, DWA, which means hot summer, monsoon, continental, and so far and so forth. Our next slide, defining the different code and type D, which is the continental. First, we have the DW, which means the continental with dry winter. In this code, it means that climes are continental regions with dry winters and wet summers. Often it influenced by monsoon winds. DW climates are characterized by strong seasonal contrast, with most of the precipitation concentrated in summer, while winters are dry and often snowy, which means sa DW, the climate of that continental region has a dry winters, which means dry and winters must may snow, and also it has a continental that it has a climate of wet summers. The next ones we have the DWA, which is the hot summer monsoon continental, which means has a hot, wet summer and cold, dry winters common in northeastern, which is in China, Korea, and some parts of Japan. So next one we have the DWB, which is the warm summer monsoon continental. When we say warm summer monsoon continental, or the DWB, it is warm summer and cold, dry winters, and prevail in the interior of Mongolia and parts of Russia. Yung mga nasa malapit na sa polar na mga country, with grasslands and forests that are well adapted in the seasonal rainfall patterns. So next one we have the DWC, or the subarctic monsoon continental, found in high latitude interior regions with cool summers and very cold dry winters, such as central Siberia. So common siya in the country of Siberia. Next one we have the DF, or the continental fully humid, or these climates are characterized as continental with no distinct dry season, resulting in a precipitation occurring throughout the year, or also these climates are marked by large seasonal temperature differences and abundant winter snow, which means sobrang laking doon. And the next one is the DFA, or the hot summer continental. It has a summer with temperature above of 22 degrees Celsius and cold winters with frequent snowfall. This climate is found in the northeastern United States, also in Eastern Europe and parts of China, supporting mixed forest and seasonal agriculture. So maganda rin naman yung pag ganito ang temperature. It has a 22 degrees Celsius And the next one is the DSP, or the warm summer continental. It experiences warm but not hot summers, kagaya ng Philippines, and cold winters with at least 4 months averaging above 10 degrees Celsius. It occurs in southern China, Canada, Poland, and parts of Russia, featuring boreal forest and farmland. Nagkakaroon dito ng hot summer pero hindi kagaya ng sa Philippines. Nagkakaroon dito ng warm pala pero hindi kagaya ng hot summer dito sa Philippines. So, next one, we have the DFC, or the subarctic or cool summer continental. It has a short cool summers and long harsh winters with only 1 to 3 months averaging above of 10 degrees Celsius. This typical in the country of Alaska, northern Canada, and Siberia, where dominate and agriculture. Next one, we have the DS continental with dry summer, or the DS climates are rare continental regions with dry summer and wet winter, similar to continental Mediterranean climate. DS climates have a strong temperature difference between summer and winter, with summer droughts affecting vegetation and water availability. So, dito sa climates na ito, meron na tayong na it affects the summer drought affecting the vegetation and water availability. So, may mga animals na itong nabubuhay, or yeah. Next one is the DSA, or the hot summer, or the hot summer, dry summer continental climate. In this naman, hot summer and cold winters are prevalent in the highland areas of Turkey and Iran, where agriculture is adapted to cope with summer growth. Yan. So, next one is DSB, warm summer, dry summer continental climate. Warm summer and cold winters seen in high altitude regions of the Pacific Northwest and Turkey, with forests and grassland adapted of summer dryness. Next one is the DSC, cold summer, dry summer continental climate. Cold summer and harsh snowy winters occurring in high altitude continental mountain regions such as part of the Andes and Turkey. We come now to the next type, which is the type E climates, are found in the coldest regions. When we say the coldest regions, these are on the part of the polar regions of the Earth, so where the warmest month has an average temperature below 10 degrees Celsius, making it impossible for trees to grow. These climates are characterized by extreme cold, abundant snow, and limited vegetation, and are primarily found near the poles or in high mountain ranges. Type E climates characterized by extreme cold, very low precipitation, mostly snow, strong winds, and lack of trees, making them some of the harshest environment on Earth. So, these are the codes for the type E. We have the ET, or which is the Tokyo climate. It has a short, cool summer where temperature reach between 0 degrees Celsius and 10 degrees Celsius, allowing mosses, lynches, and small shrubs to grow. Example include northern Alaska, northern Canada, and coastal Greenland. Next one, we have the EF, which means ice cap climate. It experiences perpetual freezing temperature with the warmest month meaning below 0 degrees Celsius, meaning no vegetation can survive, and landscape is entirely covered by ice and snow. EF climates are found in Antarctica and general Greenland and some high polar islands. So in the screen, as you can see, we have the percentage of the Köppen climate classification. So these are the different type of Köppen climate classification. We have the A, again, we have the A, tropical, B, the dry, and C, temperate, and D, continental, and the last one we have the E, polar. As you can see in this paragraph, percentage, the highest one has in the dry 32.2%, and followed by the 24.0%, which is the temperate, the continental, and also it has the tropical has a 22.2%, while the temperate has a 16.5%, and the polar is have a 5.1%. So these are the percentage of gaano kalawak yung nasakop nitong mga different climate nito, different continental climate. So as you can see, the highest one is the B, which is the dry. Sila yung may mga pinakamalawak na lugar na sakupan kung saan itaas the continental climate is dry. And right now, if we're going to read the Köppen climate classification map, these are the different or we can say the legend of the different type of continental climate. So we have the tropical climate, we have different types of codes, and also in the dry climate they have the different codes also. And also in this one, if we're going to read the Köppen climate classification map, you will need this for you to be able to know what are the climates on that place. These are the legends that will help you to identify what climates ang nandoon sa continent nila, sa continent nila. Come now to the benefits of Köppen climate classification. So what are the benefits for us people or for all over the world, the Köppen climate classification? First, we have how it helps to understand climate patterns. Köppen system organizes the world's climates into distinct categories based on the temperature and precipitation. This makes it easier for scientists, geographers, students to study climate patterns and seasonal variation across different regions. So it will help to understand the climate patterns. It will help the scientists, the geographers, for them to be able to know what are the climate patterns or the seasonal variation across different regions. The second one we have the second benefits is the guides agriculture and crop planning. So it will benefit the farmers. It will benefit the farmers because identifying climate types, the system enables farmers to select the most sustainable crops for their specific region. For example, here in the Philippines, we have the tropical climates. We can plant such as rice, bananas, and sugarcane, which is very abundant. Especially we have the tropical climates. And also, for example, the tropical climates, the ideal for planting grapes and olive. Also aids in planning irrigation, determining planting season, and implementing crop rotation. So one of the benefits of this is to help the farmers for them to know ano yung mga itatanim nila. Yun nga, for example, dito sa Philippines, we have the tropical climate. We can plant like rice, bananas, and sugarcane na mabubuhay ito dahil may ganito tayong temperature. Okay, we have the third one, benefits of the Köppen climate classification. It predicts natural vegetation and ecosystem, which means each climate type corresponds to typical vegetation, which allows ecologists to understand biodiversity and ecosystem distribution. For example, we have the AF or the tropical rainforest, deserts and cacti and shrubs, boreal forest, and tundra with mosses and benches. So, it will have the scientists for them to know what are the typical vegetation that are living on that what do you call this place, living on that place, to for them to study the biodiversity and also the ecosystem distribution on that place. And also the benefits of this, we have the assist the urban planning and infrastructure development, which means the knowledge of local economic helps engineers. It helps engineers and planners design buildings, roads, and drainage systems sustained to the environment. So, for example, there are cold climates. The engineer will design that a isolated buildings and heating system for them to be able, for the people when they going to that building, because of the cold climate, it will warm their body. Because of that, engineers build the building with it has a isolated building and also heating system. Parang ganon. Also, for example, in the wet climates, flood resistant infrastructures, there's are buildings that will what do you call this? It will flood resistant infrastructure. And also the dry climates, for example, in the dry climates, it will the engineers or the planners designs will strategize to make a water conservation strategies for them to be able to conserve the water of that place, since they have the dry climates. Next one is we have one of the benefits of Köppen classification. We have the support disaster preparedness. The Köppen classification helps predict climate-related hazards. So it enables the governments and communities to prepare foods and for droughts and with heat waves or snowstorms based on the regional climate type. It will help them. It will help the people to prepare for the typhoon, heat waves, or the snowstorms, because of the they will know the climate, because they will know the climate type with the help of the Köppen system classifications. Also, the benefits of this is also the its environmental and climate research. The scientists use the system to track change just in climate zones over time, which helps in studying the effects of global warming, monitoring shifts in vegetation ecosystem, or monitoring soil fertility, water availability, and the carbon cycle. Next one, we have the guides. It guides the human settlement and tourism. Understanding the climate types helps people choose where to live, work, or travel. It will studying the Köppen system. It will help you. It will help us humans to guide on where we're going to settle, and also in where we're going to visit countries. For example, in the type E, which is very cold, it has a very cold climate, that will no longer na may mabubuhay pa doon. Wala na may mabubuhay pa doon. So, pipiliin ba natin na tumira doon? So, hindi naman, diba? So, we will choose a place that the climate are very nice. For example, here in the Philippines, the temperature is nice, and we have a rainy season and summer season. That's all. Move on for the benefits of the Köppen classification. We are now going to tackle the effects of Köppen climate classifications. One of the effects of the Köppen classification is the influence on agriculture, because farmers and planters can adjust crops planting seasons and irrigation according to climate zones. This leads to higher crops yields and reduced risk of crop failure. So dito daw, it influence on agriculture. Sa mga farmers, nalalaman nila kung kailan darating ang bagyo. Kaya meron tayo yung nalalaman ng mga farmer kung kailan sila magtatanim, para yung pagtanim nila hindi masasayang kasi walang typhoon or storm na darating because of the climate of what they have. So nalalaman nila yun at ma-adjust nila yung kung kailan sila tatanim, para yung itatanim nila hindi masisira ng bagyo, ng storm, or anything that makakasira sa mga tanim nila. Na-adjust nila yun. So, sa we have the shaping natural vegetation of the ecosystem. By mapping climates, scientists can predict which plants and forests will grow in specific locations. This helps conservation efforts and understanding of biodiversity patterns. So, in shaping natural vegetation and ecosystem, it will the conservation and efforts in understanding of the biodiversity patterns. So, third effects of Köppen classification, we have the impact on human settlement. Urban planners can design infrastructure suited to the climate, heating for cold regions, drainage for wet regions. Communities can choose safer and more sustainable location to live in. So, one of the effects of this is it can help the people to plan or design the infrastructure that they want to be because of what climate that they have. For example, if you have a cold regions, you can create or you can construct a building that is has a heating system that will help the people live there to warm their body, and also a drainage for those regions that are wet regions. Though I think you can have or you can create a drainage para hindi laging binabaha. So it will also help the people to choose safer and more sustainable locations para sa buhay nila. Next effects of Köppen climate classification is the disaster preparedness. So, knowing the climate types allows government to prepare for floods, droughts, snowstorms, or heat waves. Yan, sabi na nga, and this reduce the loss of life and property during extreme weather events. So, kapag alam natin yung climate na meron tayo or climate types na meron tayo, makakapag-prepare ang government or tayo mismo sa kung ano ang mangyayari sa climate na makakarating sa atin. And also, it will help us to prepare, and also it will lessen the people that will be in danger when it comes to the disaster. Next one is the scientific and environmental research. So the researcher can track climate changes over time, such as shifts in vegetation zones due to global warming. This improves understanding of ecosystem change and trends. And next, the last one is the influence on tourism and economy. The climate maps help people decide on travel destination or agricultural investments. Regions with favorable climates attract tourism and economic development. And that's all for our reporting. That's all for the topic of the Köppen system classification, climate classification. So these are the guide questions that you need to answer. And that's all. Thank you. Have a nice day.